Let's talk about gratitude for a minute. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools you have for controlling your mood. When you focus on what you're grateful for, when you make a conscious effort to shift your attention to the good things in your life, it's almost impossible to stay in a negative state. Gratitude forces you to recognize that no matter what's going wrong, there's still something going right. It changes your perspective. It shifts your focus from what you don't have to what you do have, from what's lacking to what's abundant. So when you find yourself in a bad mood, when things aren't going your way, take a moment to stop and reflect on what you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be something big. It could be as simple as the fact that you woke up this morning, that you have a roof over your head, or that you have people in your life who care about you. Whatever it is, focus on it. Let it fill you up. Let it remind you that even in the midst of challenges, there's still something to be thankful for. Gratitude changes everything. Let's talk about saving for a second, because a lot of people out here are not saving nearly enough. They're living for today, spending every dime they make and hoping that tomorrow will take care of itself. But tomorrow's coming whether you're ready or not. You've got to prepare for it. You've got to save for it. Start by building an emergency fund, something to cover those unexpected expenses that life throws your way. Because let me tell you something, life is going to throw you some curveballs. The car is going to break down. The roof is going to leak. You're going to have medical bills. If you don't have money set aside for those emergencies, you're going to find yourself in a hole that's hard to climb out of. Once you've got your emergency fund in place, start thinking about your future. Start thinking about retirement, about investments, about building wealth that will last. And here's the thing about wealth. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. It's about building something that lasts. And let me say this, financial freedom doesn't mean having millions of dollars in the bank. It means being in control of your money instead of your money controlling you. It means living within your means. It means having a plan. It means being intentional about where your money is going and making sure it's working for you, not against you. When you've got financial freedom, you've got options. You can live life on your own terms. You can pursue your passions. You can give back to your community in meaningful ways. You can invest in the things that matter to you. But you'll never get there if you're letting your money run the show. Let's talk about your mouth. When I say control your mouth, I'm not just telling you to hold your tongue when you're angry, although that's important. I'm talking about realizing the power that comes with every word you say. The words you speak are like arrows. You can't take them back once they leave your lips. So many people don't realize this. They talk without thinking, spit out negativity, or gossip without considering the impact. But the truth is, the words that come out of your mouth have the power to shape your life, your relationships, and your future. When you speak, you're not just describing the world around you, you're creating it. The words you use build the foundation of your reality. If you constantly speak about how hard life is, how unfair things are, or how impossible your dreams seem, you are literally creating an environment that reflects those very words. You're putting that energy out into the world, and the world responds. On the flip side, if you speak with faith, if you declare possibility, if you encourage others, you're creating an environment where success and positivity can flourish. Think about the people who inspire you. Do they speak doubt? Do they tear others down? Or do they use their words to uplift, to push forward, and to open doors for themselves and others? That's the kind of power you hold. The power to speak life into any situation. And here's the thing, this isn't just about how you talk to others, it's about how you talk to yourself. Self-talk is real. The way you speak to yourself, the words you choose, when you think about your own life, your own capabilities, your own future, those words are shaping your reality. If you constantly tell yourself, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or it's too hard, guess what? You're going to start believing it. You'll limit yourself because you're feeding your mind the wrong message. You'll begin to act as if those limitations are real, when in fact, they're just a reflection of the negativity you've been speaking. But when you flip the script and start speaking positive, affirming words to yourself, everything changes. When you wake up in the morning and tell yourself, I can handle whatever comes my way, I am more than capable, I deserve success. That's when you begin to build the confidence and mindset you need to move forward. You speak yourself into strength, You speak yourself into courage. And before long, those words become actions. And those actions turn into habits that shape your future. You see, controlling your mouth isn't about silence. It's about being intentional. It's about understanding that every word that leaves your lips is either contributing to your success or setting you back. It's about recognizing that your words have power over your relationships, your opportunities, and even your own self-perception. Look, life will throw challenges at you. So how do you control your money? How do you take the reins and stop letting it control you? It starts with a plan. You've got to create a plan for your money. You've got to know where every dollar is going before it even gets there. Too many people out here are just spending without thinking, without planning. They're reacting to every sale, every impulse, every fleeting desire. But if you want to control your money, you've got to be proactive. That means budgeting. That means saving. That means investing in your future. It's about being intentional with every dollar that comes into your hands. Now, budgeting might not sound like the most exciting thing in the world, but let me tell you something, budgeting is freedom. When you have a budget, you know exactly where your money is going. You're not guessing, you're not stressing. You're in control. You're telling your money what to do instead of wondering where it went. And here's the thing, it's never too late to start. I don't care if you're 25 or 55, if you're just starting your career or getting ready to retire. It's never too late to take control of your money. It might take some sacrifice, but it's worth it. Because when you control your money, you're not just building wealth, you're building freedom. Because when you do that, you're not just securing your financial future, you're securing your freedom. And that's a life worth living. You ever wonder why some people seem to have it all together while others are constantly struggling to keep up? It's not luck, it's not talent. It's not even about having more opportunities. It all comes down to one simple thing, control. Control over what you say, control over what you think, control over how you feel, and control over how you manage your resources. Let me tell you something, if you can master your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money, you can master your life. Most people don't realize that the power to change everything is already inside them, just waiting to be tapped into. But if you don't control these things, they'll control you. These things shape your world. They influence every decision you make, every relationship you build, and every opportunity you either take or miss. Control them, and you control your life. Let them run wild, and you'll find yourself in a place you never wanted to be. So today we're going to dive into this. Now, budgeting might not sound like the most exciting thing in the world, but let me tell you something, budgeting is freedom. When you have a budget, you know exactly where your money is going. You're not guessing, you're not stressing. You're in control. You're telling your money what to do instead of wondering where it went. And when you're in control, when you're intentional, you stop letting your emotions drive your spending. Let's talk about that for a second. Emotions and money, they don't mix. If you want to see change in your life, it starts with what you say. Let me give you an example. Think about someone who always talks about how hard life is. Every time you see them, they're complaining about something. What kind of energy are they putting out into the world? What kind of opportunities are they attracting? Not the good kind, that's for sure. Now think about someone who always speaks with hope. Someone who talks about solutions instead of problems. You can feel the difference, can't you? That's the power of words. That's the power of controlling your mouth. If you want to be successful, if you want to be a leader, if you want to make a difference in this world, you've got to get your words in check. Stop speaking defeat into your life. Stop saying I can't and start saying I will. Stop talking about what's going wrong and start talking about what's possible. And don't just do this for yourself, do it for the people around you. Let's get real about your mind. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It's where everything begins. Every action, every decision, every habit you build, it's all rooted in your thoughts. Your mind is where battles are won or lost long before they ever manifest in your life. You've got to understand this, because if you don't control your mind, it will control you. And when you let that happen, you end up living a life that's reactive instead of proactive, driven by fears and doubts instead of purpose and intention. If you do, they'll take root and grow into something bigger than they ever needed to be. Instead, when you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, stop and ask yourself, is that really true? What evidence do I have that I can't? Most of the time, you'll realize that those negative thoughts aren't based in reality, they're just your fear talking. So challenge them, flip the script, and replace them with thoughts that serve you. Another powerful tool for controlling your mind is visualization. When you visualize your goals, your dreams, and your success, you train your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you're afraid of. When you can see it in your mind, you can start to believe it's possible. And once you believe it's possible, you'll start taking the actions necessary to make it a reality. Visualization isn't just daydreaming, it's a way of programming your mind for success. It's about creating a mental picture of where you're headed and letting that picture guide your actions. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. Are you going to let the world dictate your thoughts, or are you going to take control of your mind? Success will start to come your way. So take control of your mood. Don't let it control you. Don't let a bad morning turn into a bad day, or a bad day turn into a bad week. Recognize that you have the power to shift your energy at any moment. You can choose to be positive. You can choose to be grateful. You can choose to see the good, even in the midst of challenges. And when you do that, you'll start to notice that your life begins to change. Your mood matters. It affects everything you do, from your relationships to your career to your overall happiness. So don't take it lightly. Too many people are focused on making more money, but they're not paying attention to how much they're spending. They're making six figures, but they're living paycheck to paycheck because they're spending it all as soon as it comes in. That's not wealth. Wealth is when you've got something that lasts. Wealth is when you're building a legacy, when you're creating financial freedom for yourself and for the generations that come after you. When you control your mouth, you become a source of strength for others. Your words can lift someone up when they're feeling down. Your words can inspire someone to keep going when they're ready to give up. But if you're reckless with your words, if you're constantly criticizing, complaining, or speaking in anger, you're going to push people away. You're going to create an environment where negativity thrives. And that's not the kind of legacy you want to leave behind. It's about being able to make choices that align with your values and your goals instead of being trapped by debt or limited by a lack of resources. When you control your money, you're not just building wealth, you're building a life. A life that gives you the freedom to pursue your passions, to help others, to live without constant worry. But let me say this, none of this happens overnight. You don't just wake up one day and suddenly have control over everything. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes discipline. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. But you do have to start. Start today. Start with one thing. Maybe it's watching what you say. Maybe it's taking control of your thoughts. Maybe it's choosing to be positive even when things aren't going your way. Or maybe it's creating a budget and sticking to it. Whatever it is, take that first step. And then take another. And before you know it, you'll have built a life that's intentional, a life that's meaningful, a life that's yours. And as you do that, as you start taking control of these four areas, your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money, you'll begin to see a shift. You'll notice that you're not just living day to day, reacting to whatever life throws at you. You're creating your life. You're in the driver's seat. And that's a powerful place to be. But here's the thing, it's not just about you. When you take control of your life, you're also creating a ripple effect. You're inspiring the people around you. You're showing them what's possible. You're lifting them up. Whether it's your family, your friends, your community, when you live with intention, when you take control, you become a leader. You become a light in a world that desperately needs it. So don't wait. Don't sit back and let life happen to you. Take control. Control your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be quick, but it will be worth it. And when you look back one day, you'll see that you didn't just live your life, you created it. You shaped it. You owned it. And in doing that, you'll have built something that no one can take away from you. A legacy, a life full of purpose, of meaning, of success. So start today. Take that first step. Control your life because nobody else is going to do it for you. You have the power. The control is in your hands. So what are you going to do with it? Pay attention to how you're feeling. Check in with yourself regularly. And when you notice that your mood is starting to go off track, take steps to shift it. Breathe, reflect, focus on what's good. Choose gratitude. Choose positivity. Choose to control your mood, because when you do, you take control of your life. It's about understanding that every word that leaves your lips is either contributing to your success or setting you back. It's about recognizing that your words have power over your relationships, your opportunities, and even your own self-perception. When you speak words of wisdom, positivity, and truth, you attract those things into your life. They'll come to you for advice because they know you're someone who speaks with intention, someone who uses words as tools for building, not for tearing down. Think of your words as seeds. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, that's what you'll harvest. But if you plant seeds of faith, determination, and positivity, so be mindful of the seeds you're planting, because you're going to have to live in the garden you create. You can choose to be deliberate with your words, understanding the power they hold. This isn't just about success, it's about living a life of purpose. It's about recognizing the power you have to create your own reality, to shape the world around you, and to leave a positive impact on the people you meet. Words are a tool. If you use them wisely, they will build a life that reflects your true potential. If you use them carelessly, they will destroy opportunities before they even have a chance to bloom. So the next time you open your mouth, remember this: your words have power. Control them. Speak with intention. Speak life into your future, into your relationships, and into your own self-worth. And watch how the world changes around you. But when you become aware of your mood, when you check in with yourself and say, wait a minute, how am I feeling right now? You give yourself the power to shift that energy. You become the one in the driver's seat rather than letting your emotions steer the car. Think about it. How many times have you let something small set the tone for your whole day? And let's not forget about your energy. Your mood is contagious. The energy you put out into the world will come back to you. If you're walking around with a negative attitude, constantly complaining, constantly focusing on what's wrong, you're going to attract more negativity into your life. But if you're positive, if you're optimistic, if you're grateful, that energy will attract more of the same. People will want to be around you. Opportunities will start to open up. And finally, let's talk about money. This one's big, and I don't mean just in terms of dollars and cents. I'm talking about the mindset you have toward money. Money can either be a tool that gives you freedom, or it can be a shackle that ties you down, weighs you down, and keeps you up at night. Too many people are controlled by their money or by the lack of it. They're out here living paycheck to paycheck, wondering how they're going to make ends meet. They're drowning in debt, feeling like they'll never catch a break. They don't have a plan, and because they don't have a plan, they feel powerless. But here's the truth: money, just like anything else in your life, is something you can control. You've just got to be intentional about it. You've got to make the decision to control it instead of letting it control you. First off, let me make something clear: money is not the root of all evil. You've heard that before, right? People like to throw that around, but they're misquoting it. It's not the money itself that's the problem, it's the love of money. It's when you become obsessed with it, when you start chasing it at all costs, when you're willing to do anything and everything just to get more of it. That's when you get into trouble. And when you're in control, when you're intentional, you stop letting your emotions drive your spending. Let's talk about that for a second. Emotions and money, they don't mix well. How many times have you had a bad day and decided to go out and spend money just to feel better? How many times have you told yourself, I deserve this, and bought something you knew you couldn't afford? Listen, I get it. Are you going to let fear stop you? Or are you going to acknowledge it and keep moving forward anyway? That's the choice you get to make every single day. When you control your mind, you don't eliminate fear or doubt, you rise above it. You learn how to manage it, how to push through it, and how to keep going even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you. This is where discipline comes in. You've got to train your mind the same way an athlete trains their body. You don't just wake up one day with mental strength. It's built over time with intentionality and effort. You've got to be deliberate about what you allow into your mind. You guard your mind like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. You've got to be selective about what you expose yourself to. If it doesn't feed your spirit, if it doesn't align with your goals or your values, let it go. Instead, fill your mind with things that challenge you, that push you to grow, that inspire you to be better. Read books that make you think, that open your mind to new ideas and possibilities. Listen to people who motivate you, who've walked the path you want to walk, and who've overcome the obstacles you're facing. And here's another thing, surround yourself with people who lift you up. The company you keep has a huge impact on your mindset. If you're hanging around people who are always negative, always complaining, always doubting, that energy is going to rub off on you. But if you're around people who are driven, focused, and positive, that energy is contagious too. The more you expose yourself to positivity and success, the more your mind will start to reflect that. You'll start to believe in yourself more, to see opportunities where others see obstacles, and to push through challenges with confidence instead of fear. Controlling your mind also means being intentional about your thoughts. When a negative thought creeps in, you've got to catch it, challenge it, and replace it with something better. You can't just let negative thoughts sit there and fester. If you do, they'll take root and grow into something bigger than they ever needed to be. Instead, when you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, stop and ask yourself, is that really true? What evidence do I have that I can't? Most of the time, you'll realize that those negative thoughts aren't based in reality. They're just your fear talking. So challenge them, flip the script, and replace them with thoughts that serve you. It's when you become obsessed with it, when you start chasing it at all costs, when you're willing to do anything and everything just to get more of it, that's when you get into trouble. But money itself, money is neutral. It's a tool. And how you use that tool, that's what makes a difference. You can use it to build something beautiful, something lasting, something that benefits not just you, but the people around you. Or you can use it recklessly, carelessly, and find yourself in a deeper hole than when you started. The choice is yours. But here's the thing, just because you feel like you deserve something doesn't mean you should buy it. Just because you had a bad day doesn't mean you should spend money that's going to set you back financially. That kind of emotional spending is a trap. And if you're not careful, it'll keep you stuck in a cycle of debt and stress. You've got to be smart with your money. You've got to think long term. Don't just focus on the here and now. Think about where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Think about what kind of life you want to create for yourself and your family. And then start making decisions that will help you get there. That means saving. That means investing. That means living below your means, even when it feels like everyone else is out there living it up.